You're so good here.
Hey, Ella. You can hug, but no kisses. And again, David, I'm going to let you set your boundaries.
Yes.
Everyone is different.
Yes.
So,
No, this is great.
okay. Now that Ella is going to make her presence known, she'll just come in and out. But David, thank you so much for coming to hang out today.
Gosh. Thank you for having me.
This is so much fun. I'm trying to think how long we've been connected. I slid into your DMs maybe a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw your content on the internet and immediately I was just like, this person is so cool, so genuine, actually helps people feel good about themselves and is teaching real skills.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need to know this person. So I reached out.
What did you see? What do you remember seeing?
So I remember seeing a lot about posing tips and photography tips.
Yeah.
And for the work I do with fitness, I'm in front of the camera a lot. And so that's definitely an area that I do not feel like is a top skill for me. I have a folder that I've saved in my phone called posing, and it's literally all you.
Wait, but then there's so many other people that do posing and photography.
Yeah.
What did you see of mine that made you say, oh, like this human is kind of different?
A few things specifically.
Yeah.
One, it's always entertaining and fun. There's always something unique about it. But two, you're very inclusive. Everything you do is very kind. I see a lot of things, and I'm sure everyone else sees this too, where it feels like you're making fun of certain people or you're doing a lot of calling out in a rude way. And that just makes me feel icky. And every time I see information from you, even if it's something like masculine poses for some, like I still find myself entertained and coming away feeling better because of the way that you go about teaching. You help people feel more informed by teaching the skill, but you also evoke confidence and acceptance, and that's really unique.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hopefully it comes off that way.
Yeah. I mean, you do so many wonderful things, and you always do it in a creative way. And so I'm really excited to dive into a lot of your creative process, how you certainly create the things that you do, but the way that you go about thinking it and how you're trying to present these things to the world, because it's certainly making an impact in my life and a lot of other million gazillion people as well.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to dive into it.
Yes, let's dive all the way.
All the way.
Yeah.
So David, how do you describe what you do?
How do I describe what I do? I'm at a fortunate place where I can say I'm just doing me.
Love that.
And when I say that, it's in a joking way, but also like in a serious way of, I have always been the one to just chase after what I wanted, what my the direction my heart sort of like navigates. And I mean, if we go back all the way to middle school, David, what does he know about passion? He's just like doing what he likes. But I feel like even just like David then, just saying, oh, I'm going to play more volleyball, I'm going to play more games, I'm going to dance more, I'm going to do photography more, even though what society was telling me is education, not just education, academics is where I should be investing all my time. David's still raising his hand saying, oh, I'm going to do these things because I like it. I think truly set me up for now to just keep doing more of that, which is what fulfills me and what I love. And what fulfills me now is helping people navigate their identity, creatively express their identity. And I think when we do that, we feel very seen and heard. And I found that when we do feel seen and heard, we feel very empowered. We feel confident. We feel like we belong, which many times in this very digital age, in a very like digitally chaotic age, it might feel very hard to feel like we do belong. So that's what I do in many different ways, whether that's through serving my clients through photography, or getting in a hot dress and teaching people how to pose online. or creating courses, whatever it is. I think that's sort of like my life purpose that I'm really living right now.
It's cool to see all of the different ways that you do this, because you do have a lot of mediums for how you operate professionally and just the resources that you provide for people. So photography, certainly, you help clients individually, and I love seeing the different shoots that you do. You posted one recently with a person who is a cancer survivor and just helped her feel more confident, and the beautiful dress that she was twirling in. It's just so inspiring to see that. And so you do those individual one-on-ones.
Yeah.
You have courses. One is called the Foundations of Posing. No.
Photography. So there's
Foundations of Photography.
One that's up right now that anyone can always take is more of a photography basics course. The one that I just closed and archived is How to Be Photogenic in 30 Days. We're going to be bringing back another course that's similar to that, that's mostly for just posing in general. We're looking to really just create this master class of posing that when anyone thinks of posing, they take this. And they're just trying to put a little bit more into the courses. I think that's like the most natural direction people think of when they see my content. They're like, I want more.
Yes, I would second that as a person who would be a consumer of that.
Yes.
Because your posts and the videos that you create, it's so cool. Like I said, I have a folder of them. So it's like things like posing in general, how you're positioning your body for photos.
Yeah.
So many people feel uncomfortable in front of the camera, and everything that you do allows people to have real tangible ways to move their body so that they don't need to change anything about their body. And that, I feel like that's a big thing about what you teach.
Yeah.
But it's helping them feel more confident through their movement. Like, how did you get into the posing side of photography? Like, what sparked that for you?
So I think most photographers can relate when it comes to the challenges of guiding whoever they're photographing, friends, family, models, clients. We always have this block of like, ooh, like we invest a lot into like here and here and here. The technicalities of being behind the camera. We find a lot of comfort being behind the camera because we feel like we don't have to socialize. And then you start to understand, oh, there is an actual person you're photographing. You can't just hide behind the camera all the time. And if you're anything social and empathetic, then you will start to really feel the awkwardness of that situation, because the person in front of the camera will let you know how uncomfortable they are. It might be a simple question of, hey, what do I do with my hands? What should I do? Smile? Should I like look away? And I definitely felt that early on as I was like tinkering with the camera. Oh my gosh, this is so fun. And like using the latest techniques I've learned off of YouTube. And then whoever I'm photographing, they're saying, what do I do? And I would feel that. I also think it's because I grew up being a big people pleaser. And I didn't want them to feel that way. Just like as a baseline, I just didn't want them to feel awkward. And I said, what can I do to help them feel more comfortable? And I realized a lot of it was questions about posing. What should I do? Because I had the other end of lighting and all these things. So I just started learning about basic posing. So how to learn how to pose as a photographer. Then a lot of the stuff that I learned was things like poses for women and poses for men. And then David was really happy. He would like have like 3 poses for women in his pocket. I would say like 5 for women and then like 3 for men in his pocket. They helped a lot, certainly. Until then, I realized, okay, these poses, these canned poses, don't work in every situation. What about different heights? What about different body shapes? Different age? What if you want to express something else? What if not everyone wants to have a hand on the hip and look sassy, right? What do you do then? So I realized there was another challenge there. And I said, okay, well, it seems like these canned poses can't work on everyone. I also tried to memorize more canned poses, and I realized, this is why I didn't do theater growing up, because I can't remember things so well.
You go with the flow, okay?
Yes. I very, very much am a go with the flow guy, and I people have made me realize this. I do have a quite the dance background, but not just any dance. It's in freestyle, so it's in like street freestyle. Doing the robot, doing the wave, and all the cool stuff. And I realized, yeah, like that's how my brain works. Less so of memorizing choreography and things like that. I go with the flow. I honestly don't know where I realized that posing is a way of communicating with our bodies. It happens somewhere. And I'm a deeply introspective guy. Somewhere, I think over quarantine, I was just thinking about this because a lot of people would start asking me about posing, and I said, yeah, like there's such thing as body language. If we are confident in a setting, our body will present in a certain way. If we are genuinely scared, we wouldn't have the same body communication. We would be shriveled up, like a little fetal, right? So I truly don't know. I think I was just piecing together a bunch of different information, maybe something from college as well. There was I was taking a presentation class where for our finals we all had to just do 5-10 minute speech, right? And I believe, I don't know if it's true or false. I think it's pretty true. Apparently, what most people in America fear more than death itself is public speaking.
I've heard that too.
Yeah. And my professor was telling us, because we were all just like sweaty hands, she was saying, if you're really scared, I'll give you time before your presentation to go to the bathroom, look yourself in the mirror, and open up your arms like you're flexing your arms, like Superman. And just like puff your chest up and just stay in that pose for a little bit. Because this is so like fascinating to me, right? She said, just like how our feeling and our mindset will influence how our body acts, it can do the vice versa. If we open up our body, it can also help influence how we feel in that situation. I was like, this is mind blowing.
So cool.
Isn't that
Yeah,
crazy?
it's incredible. Because how you hold your body, how you carry it can change your mood. It changes your confidence, everything. I feel that so much. I've done a decent amount of public speaking and just having to coach people, being in front of the camera. And I have not like this is the exact like pregame routine, but I
Yeah.
do have certain things where it's like I will sit in the car beforehand and I'll do a lot of like breathing and just holding myself and keeping my shoulders back because it helps me feel like, okay,
Yeah.
come on, Kels, I've got this. Like just trying to pump
Yes.
myself up. And it does make a difference.
Yes, it really does. So yeah, it's like I was deeply fascinated by the psychology
Yeah.
of it too, and just like, oh, how is this all just linked? What is going on? So then all of a sudden there's this college David who's going from canned poses to making these connections of, oh yeah, like it's not just like a performance. It's not just like this pose that we strike. It's a way of communicating, and something about it felt a lot more sustainable. It felt a lot more organic, just the way we like it in California.
Right?
You know?
So true.
And this was further evolved through me getting into a dress and realizing, oh my gosh, I feel so different. Like I'm the same person, but then just this clothing changes how I walk, how I feel, how I want to present.
What were you experiencing when you put the dress on and you have this dope wig too that you wear a lot in your content? I love it so much.
Instead, we're going to start turning to our sides, creating these beautiful, gentle curves, gentle touches, connecting to our sensual side. But you might be like, you don't look like you're in manly love. So here's the secret. Pose and slay for yourselves. And then if you bring it in together, it should work together.
I've now at first it wasn't the most comfortable. Now I'm just like, oh my gosh, I feel so good.
Do you feel like a different person, or is it just like bringing out a different piece of you?
Definitely a different piece of me.
Cool.
Yeah. But at first it was just like, it was a lot more, me getting into a dress was very much for science and education of like, I don't want to be teaching other people, other women how to pose, just being a dude. I wanted to come from a place of empathy and say, hey, like, I need to know what the restrictions are. I need to know how you feel as much as I can because I know so little.
Yeah.
So what can I do? What's the bare minimum I can do? So getting into that dress was the one little bare minimum of a thing I can do. And I realized, oh, like I can't just spread my legs out on a chair to pose. There's different things I need to do. And then me looking at the mirror, it's like, oh, I can shift my hip this way to show off the hip just a little bit more because the dress is really tight. So putting on that dress also just further evolved that concept of, yeah, we're at the end of the day, we're trying to express something, whether it's our identity, it could be our physical body as well. We want to express different things of us. We want to highlight certain things. We also have insecurities. We also have body goals if you do. And it's sort of like putting all that together and saying, yeah, it's how we want to present ourselves and how we want to express.
It's such a cool thing that you tie all of that into it, because certainly we all have things that we like about ourselves and things that we wish were different or that we're working on changing. And so how do you go about working with someone or teaching a broad audience when you don't know who's exactly going to see it?
Yeah.
I've seen you have a few different types of posts with the 7 different posing points
Yes.
with the foundations of posing and different things that are kind of like, here are the basics. So how would you, if you have someone who feels so uncomfortable in front of the camera, where are you starting with them?
Where would I start with someone who's very uncomfortable in front of the camera?
Should I give you some specifications about this person?
Yes, please do.
Okay. So she's 42 years old.
Uh-huh.
Her name is Jennifer. She lives in Iowa and she has 3 kids. She is running around doing all the things. She maybe used to be an athlete, but hasn't been working out as much lately. So she doesn't feel like super confident in herself, but she wants to get back to understanding her own identity.
Wow, this is so specific.
This is who I talk to in the camera.
Oh.
This is who I visualize when
yes.
I'm coaching.
Okay.
So how would you teach
I see.
Jennifer how to pose?
I see. How should we do this? Should I just like speak it out loud, or do you want to do a role play?
So let's do both and
Okay.
people who are listening on audio will be able to explain it, and then you can come to YouTube later and watch the whole video.
Yes. I don't think
You can pretend I'm them, and you can walk me through it.
You're Jennifer. It was Jennifer, right?
It's me. My name is Jennifer. Hello.
Hi, Jennifer.
I just flew in to Los Angeles from Iowa, and
Yes.
oh my gosh, I got out of the cab and I was like, I'm straight from LAX. I have got a dream and a cardigan, and here we go. Let's do this. I'm sitting in my chair.
Yes. So, I mean, Jennifer, first of all, tell me about you and photos and just photo shoots in general. What have you experienced? Where are you now?
So I haven't done a lot of photos. We do family photos once a year, but I just don't feel super confident in my clothes, and I don't know where to put my hands. I know this one where I do the teapot.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I don't know what else to do.
Yeah. Well, the thing for me is I want to find out why you want photos in the first place. Why is this important? And then also, who do you want to see in these images? How do you want to feel when you see the Jennifer in the photo that you do want to see?
I want to see who I truly am. I feel like I give a lot, and I want to be able to remember who I was and who I'm going to be in this next chapter. I just want to feel confident in my body, and I want to remember that I am a whole person.
Yeah. So you mentioned you give a lot. You are confident, you want to be a whole person. What are other words that describe who you are and who you want to see?
I feel like I'm kind, but I also want to feel a little sexy sometimes because I live in sweatpants and I love it. But if I put on a pair of jeans, I just feel like I'm being stuffed into them and I just don't feel good. So I want to feel sexy again.
What do you feel when you are in front of the camera?
I feel awkward. I don't know what to do.
Yeah. What would you say is the closest experience to being in front of the camera to other life experiences? Just feeling awkward.
With what I feel.
Yeah.
Walking on a stage if I have to give a speech or being put on the spot at a meeting, I just kind of freeze up.
Do you feel like maybe it's because you have to perform a little bit?
I just don't want to misrepresent myself.
I think the best thing here is understanding that posing isn't to just be someone that you aren't, right? Like you said, you want to be the person you are. And the really beautiful thing here, Jennifer, is that you already are you. You already have a way you communicate. You already have this way of moving about this world and being such a bright light to everyone. So I'm going to say something. And you're most likely going to disagree, but I'll expand. You already are a master of posing.
I disagree.
And let me tell you why.
Tell me more,
okay? Let me tell you
please.
why. So, you came into this world, and the first language that you ever spoke was some and your body language, which was flailing your arm in the air saying, I need something. I need mama, I need papa. And ever since then, we've been using our body language. Before we even learn to speak an actual spoken language, we've learned to speak with our bodies. And as we refine that language by seeing how socially other people speak that language, we learn that waving our hands is high. We learn about, through movies, maybe Indiana Jones is on screen and he's all bold. And then the person he's trying to catch is screaming, saying, ah! We learn through media, through society, and ways to refine this language, and we've become really evolved in this language. We know how to read, right? Like if our niece is hidden by a corner in an apartment somewhere and she's shriveled up, we know exactly what to do. We know how to run over there and say, what's wrong? Let me comfort you. So it's this beautiful language that we've been living and speaking all our time on this earth for 40 plus years. So it's a language that you already own and know how to speak so well. It's just that when it comes to being in front of a camera, we think, oh no, we have to refine it, or it's not a language, so I have to think of some poses when it's not. You essentially just have to tap into that person that you know so well, and that person who's been treating you so well in the way you communicate to the entire world.
That's incredible. Oh my gosh. And scene. I mean, that's such an uplifting thing to be thinking about, because really we all are communicating with our bodies in every single thing that we do. Yeah. But we think that we have to somehow turn it on, and that it's really high stakes all of a sudden when we're in front of the camera. And that's something that I've learned in my fitness experience, right? That's the beauty of living in today's day and age. We have cell phones that you can take as many shots as you want. And these cameras, these digital cameras, you can literally do it 20 times if you want to. Yeah. So it just takes off the pressure.
Yeah.
But when I got to work with you and we did our collaboration, maybe we'll do a pop-up here with some of the different photos that we did. And it was so empowering to have you there. And what I loved was seeing your wheel spin. Your brain was working. I said, okay, I would love to do some superhero poses. I'm a big superhero fan.
Me
right?
too.
So I wanted to learn how to feel more powerful through my posing. And when we were there, you kind of went into this alternate universe for a second, and it was so great. Like because for me, I was in my head posing. People who are really great at posing, it was exactly what you said. They have these canned poses where it's like pose, strike a pose, and you're hitting all these different poses. But you were flowing through, like you were saying, it's kind of like a dance. You were just moving your body and moving your head and trying all these different things, and then it clicked. And that was really encouraging for me to see how fluid you were in that, because I, being a recovering type A person who is an extreme perfectionist, I want to go out there and hit it the first time. Right. And nail that thing. So seeing you do that was so cool. Can you describe sort of your creative process with posing? How does that work for you?
Yeah, it truly comes from a place of being in tune with my body. I think dance has a lot to do with it, but also just having done this a lot in different spaces, in different outfits, in different music. Because we think about, at the end of the day, we are using our language to express, right? We can use language to get across simple information, right? Like, I need water. But also, we can use language to communicate and express this complex person that we are through poetry, through music, all these different things. So things inspire us. Things inspire the language that we're about to speak. So again, it could be outfits, it could be our mood, it could be music. And I think it's really having practiced and just living through that moment a lot and feeling really grounded, feeling through the body what that feels like. Then now, when you say, David, I want to feel really powerful without compromising my femininity, it's like, okay, let's feel through that. And also, it gets even more complicated there because it's not that easy. What is powerful, and what does it mean to be feminine to you? Because I'm not here to project my standards of that onto you. So, even Jennifer saying, I am very nice, but I want to feel sexy sometimes. What does that mean? That's the part where it gets really yucky and gross with a lot of male photographers who say, oh, let's be sexy for me. This is the sexy that I want. And it's not about that.
I've learned a lot from you in watching your content, because you explain that being masculine, being feminine, being powerful, all of these things, it's not binary. And so there's so much room to explore, and you don't have to be all one thing. So that's a really powerful concept to keep in mind, that maybe you express yourself in certain ways in this outfit or for this purpose, but you don't have to just be one thing, and you can express yourself through movement and posing in so many different ways.
Yes. Yeah. So, back to the question of what is my creative process, is just feeling through. Do I feel powerful in this? And if you remember back to us working together, it's a lot of mirroring, right? So as I see and feel how the pose feels in my body, then I guide you through it. And I also check in with you of like, oh, usually I can tell from something, like if something clicks, they're like, ooh, this feels powerful. Because again, the body influences how it can feel as well. And then I see it through your expression because you're communicating that. So then it's just that's sort of like the creative process. Sometimes I feel like I'm like, that one scene of Doctor Strange looking through the multiverse
Yeah.
to look at all the outcomes. Sometimes I feel like that because I'm like this.
Yes.
Or you can think of either Doctor Strange or The Ring, the
Oh,
person
yes.
crawling out. I like to think Doctor Strange.
Let's go that route because I have like a very low tolerance for
Oh,
scary
really?
things. I have trauma from that movie. Someone brought a portable DVD player onto the school bus when I was in 5th grade.
Oh, no.
Had that movie. And that was the first like horror movie that I saw. I could not watch a TV for so long because it was so scary. Anything above Disney is like above my pay grade there. It's rough.
Okay, Doctor Strange.
Okay,
Doctor
we'll go with Strange. Yep, that's great. Yeah, I mean, so when you're thinking powerful, okay,
Yeah.
I want a powerful pose,
Uh-huh.
and I want a strong, powerful standing pose.
Yeah.
Do you, like you said, you're kind of just moving your body, feeling it out? Are you focusing on certain, like, is shoulders back kind of a standard thing, or are there certain standards for when you bend your elbows? I'm just trying to think like, what's the bare minimum? Because if I'm in a place and I'm standing there, I'm like, what the heck do I do to feel powerful?
Let me try to. Sometimes I don't even understand the whole process.
Well, but
right?
that's, again, maybe that's why everyone just needs to follow you and see your process.
Yeah.
I guess a better question from my perspective, trying to learn some technicalities. I have
Yeah.
2 things that I'm
Yeah.
curious about.
Uh-huh.
If I'm getting my pictures taken, I've seen videos of you, I've seen videos of models. They're kind of moving
Yeah.
the whole time.
Right.
Is there a certain like pace that is helpful for photographers to be able to like catch that moment? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess we just don't want to go too fast.
Yeah. But you don't want to stick in a pose. I've heard you say that.
Yeah. I mean, the easiest is when you can hear the camera shutter go off or like the light striking. Then it kind of gives you a good pace, right?
Okay.
I usually don't operate off of a pace. If you look at certain videos online where you get to really see a model move and pose like beat by beat, there's always a consistent like beat, right? Like the lights going off at the same time and the lights beep too. Then and then like it just keeps going and they just have to keep moving to that
Moving
beat.
with it.
I don't do it that way because I'm guiding every single time. So I might take some photos and say, okay, let's go this way. Take some photos, let's go this way, because I'm the one guiding them. If I was photographing a model who knew how to do all of that, then I just then can go to the beats. So I guess in your case, it's just simply going into a pose. You typically can tell when the cameraman took a photo, and then you just take some time to just kind of move and move. And for me, let's say I'm taking a photo with you, like here, and you took a photo. I'm like, oh, let me just,
Slight move.
right, go from here. Now, like, move around. The thing is, like, as the person behind the camera, you would know when I'm like moving. Like, if I'm like this, you wouldn't really take a photo if I have my head down. So in between the moment, I'm taking some time to just calm myself down, saying, oh, where can I go to, where it feels right, and then I'll look at the camera.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's super helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, second technical question. I don't know how long it took me to realize this, many years of my life, and I don't know how to fix it. Facial posing, right? Anything beyond smiling, it feels challenging for me. I'm just like a smiley person in general. So doing like a serious face
Yeah.
is kind of hard for me. And so I've seen some things before where you're kind of like, maybe you're clenching your teeth together or you pull your ears back. Do you have
right.
any suggestions for like a more fierce look?
All right. So I'm not the biggest fan of there's a lot of stuff online.
Yeah.
Right? This is one of those don't believe everything you see online.
I know, this is why I need you.
I see a lot of people that teach posing online, and no offense to them. The only thing is, like, when they teach, we'll get to the expression in just a second. When they teach things like, oh, this is how you pose at the beach. Except, I don't know how well they can teach that to someone who's just a different person.
Yeah.
Like they have learned how to look good in front of the camera, so therefore they're teaching what has worked for them, but then it's positioned in a way where it's like it's gonna work for every single person. Same thing with expressions as well. I think the best way I can put it, which might bring you some comfort, or maybe it's just like, oh, that's too conceptual. It goes back to what we feel is what we communicate, and what we communicate is also what we express. I think we can all feel when within our friend group we're having a fun time. No one has to just say I'm having a fun time for you to understand that. We know how to read the room. We're also not thinking to ourselves, I'm having a fun time, so therefore let me express that with my face right now. Let me just bring my the corner of my lips to a 15 degrees upwards to be like, oh, this is the right one to tell my
For
friends
sure.
I'm having a fun time. And this is the part where it goes back to, if you can be really in tune with your body, if you can get yourself to a place of feeling confident enough to say, yeah, this is who I am. This is what I want to communicate. You're already 90% there with expressing that. If you truly believe it, you're already expressing that with your face. There's also another side of this where you can be doing a serious face. There might be a part of this where you might not have seen that side of you a lot either.
Yeah.
This is something else I tell my clients often, because many times they will see an absolute beautiful photo and they'll say, that's not me. And I tell them, it truly is you. We're not fabricating someone today. The only thing that we're doing is showing you someone else that you haven't had the chance to meet. Because if you think about it, so you said Kelsey is a very smiley, happy person. And I'm sure many people know that of you.
Right.
At the same time, as you said, in your mind, you're not this like serious person, right? Because that's what you're trying to express. What other words would you add to that? Serious, like
Intense. Fierce.
fierce. Okay. So in your mind, you have this perception, oh yes, like Kelsey, I am a smiley person. However, I am not this fierce, intense, serious person. However, you are. Like you, not just you, every single human being, we're very complex human beings. We go through this life feeling so many different things. Even these words cannot summarize what we feel. Like happy is such a simple word, and many times I'm sure we'll say, I don't know what word to use other than just happy. And we go through life feeling all these things. We express it and we've communicated it to other people. 100% someone out there has seen you give a presentation. Someone out there has seen you train someone. Someone out there has seen you be really passionate about something, and they said, wow, she is so fierce. She is so cool. She is so powerful. I love how passionate she is. She looks very serious because she's enjoying this, and this is her life purpose. Yet, we haven't experienced that. We haven't seen that person. And if you really think about who has had the honor to see all these different sides of you, it's everyone except us.
Yeah.
Everyone else had the privilege to see all those different sides of us, yet in our minds, we're so quick to perceive ourselves and say, these are the characteristics I am, and these are not.
Yeah. Like we were talking about before, it's not binary. It doesn't mean just because you have most of these qualities, it doesn't mean you can't express these other ones. And also what I'm hearing is that so much of posing, we have to kind of embody whatever that emotion is and kind of get into that headspace to be able to do that, because otherwise it can feel a little bit robotic and not genuine.
For sure.
So I'm definitely going to be practicing that more, because it's so easy to get in your head to be like, okay, and then turn this way and then like lean back this way, versus experiencing the emotion, feeling it out. Something like maybe having a mirror. Is that like practicing in front of a mirror? Is that something you'd recommend for people? No.
Absolutely not.
Really?
Absolutely not.
What would you recommend
Because-
if someone's starting to learn posing in a better way? What would you recommend?
Can I tell you a really good analogy on why
You can tell me whatever you want.
not to start with a mirror?
Okay, tell me.
Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this Lego flower instead. No, okay, so why I don't recommend you starting off with a mirror is imagine this: you're with your significant other. Let's go back to when you had your first kiss. Okay, where was this? Do you remember?
With Dennis, it was in.
Yes, with Dennis. Sorry. Yes, with Dennis.
We were at our school and we were in the courtyard, and he had just walked through a spider web.
Wow.
Because he always does that because he's a giant.
Okay. It's like, what time of the day is this?
It was nighttime.
Nighttime. Okay. Nighttime, school courtyard. Okay. So imagine during that time, I'm sure something happened. You're like, oh my gosh, giggling. There must have been some moment where you're like, maybe it's locking eyes or some sort of like intimate moment. Maybe it's like looking at the lips and all this good stuff, right? And then as you're like pushing in for that first kiss, imagine behind both of you, these giant mirrors popped up. And then all of a sudden, you're looking at yourself. You're like, wait, this is what I look like before my first kiss with this person that...
Awkward.
Very awkward.
Yeah.
But also you're like, oh, hold on.
Yes.
Hold on, let me move you aside. Let me make sure I look great for you. Or
Takes
is it
you
really
out.
for you? Is it for Dennis or is it for you? And let me just make sure I look a little... Let me put on some lip gloss real quick. Let me make sure there's nothing in my teeth. All right, let's resume. Right? Like, we get into this really hypercritical mindset when there's a mirror of ourselves. When so much of this, again, is about feeling that moment, feeling in tune with your body. And I love that example and analogy because that moment, we really are feeling the moment. Like, it's a very special moment that you remember very clearly. And Dennis, I'm sure you as well, right? You weren't thinking about what you look like.
Right.
Can you imagine if you thought about what you look like when you're going through that moment? Absolutely horrible. There's no way you could be able to connect with each other. Now you think about that for posing as well. It's really hard to connect with yourself just the same way you would connect with your partner for that first kiss or intimate moment. If you have a mirror in front of you and you're constantly being critical of the physical body, yes, it is important at the end of the day how we present that physical body. I'm not saying we should dismiss it.
Sure.
But really being in tune with our body does 90% of the work. And that last 10%, yes, let's tweak those different things. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. So if someone's starting out, maybe you've talked a lot about dance. Is that a way that you would get people to become more attuned with their body? Or if they're just trying to get more in the flow, what would you recommend?
Yeah. So something that I have my students practice is, first of all, there's like the technicalities, which pretty much I would say if we learn the 7 posing points, I think that's really, really helpful already. That's like the foundation.
And can you go through those really quickly?
Yes, 7 posing points. It's essentially all our joints, right? Which camera should I?
So this one's on you. So
Okay.
you can look at that one and that will be the close-up.
Okay. Do we see my feet? It's weird too because I have this
I love
weird
those
sock.
toe socks. I love those toe socks. Dennis has toe socks.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Not on today, but
Okay, so 7 posing points, essentially all our joints in our body. I like to start from bottom up. So we have our ankles, right? We have our knee, our hip, our shoulder, elbow. What is this?
wrist.
Wrists, and then our neck.
Yeah.
Right. So if we think about it, I can't really stand up right now. So let's say you want to change something bottom up, one at a time, right? Let's say we're standing. How we change our ankles is just we can go for a wider stance. We can go for a little crossover. Essentially, just think about how we might be waiting for a bus or a train. We don't just stand straight up like Slender Man. We like to, like we want to tap our feet and stuff like that. That's like the ankles. And then maybe we want to bring our knee in, knee out. Maybe we sit into our hip side if you want to show off some curves there. And then shoulders, we can move here and here. We got elbows, we got our wrists, and then you have your neck. Now, okay, that was a lot. That was a lot.
I love it.
What I would then, since all you need to know is that you have those joints. That's all you need to know. Okay. What I would do then is when you're out waiting for a bus, waiting for a train, while we're in LA, let's say you're a passenger princess. There's some music bumping, right? What I do is I just move through different joints. So you can watch me here now too. As I'm talking to you, I might just move. I might move my knee, get this pillow out the
You can throw it there.
way. Okay.
Anywhere you want.
Throw it here. I might just even go up on here, pull this in, lean over here, look around, fix my hat, fix my shirt. And we've essentially went through so many different poses, right? So you can also watch your friends in how they communicate with their body. You're also just learning to be conscious about the language that we've been speaking for so long. And you look absolutely stunning right now. You're in such a comfortable pose. I see your shoulder up like this. And the thing is, you don't even know it. You don't even know it.
Thank you.
And that's how we can also read the room. It can be really fun just seeing how your friends communicate in their own individualistic, quirky little ways. Maybe you're at a bar, then they might be leaning on a bar stool. Maybe they're laid back. And you just start to just read body languages better. And then whenever you're walking or you have your downtime, you have headphones on. I love music just because it makes you feel something. Then you just start moving. You say, what can I change right now? What can I change? And you start feeling different things. How can you get more comfortable in this chair? Or how can you get more proper in this chair? Right? And you just start moving. And essentially that's what posing is. When you start looking at the photos, then you can say, oh, I like how that shapes my leg. I like how I look in this one. I like how powerful I look in this one. And then it reaffirms those movements.
That's a really cool exercise that I want to try for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Just throwing on some music and maybe feeling the emotion, moving your body in different ways. And maybe it's a series of pictures, maybe it's even a video.
Yes.
But just kind of seeing, okay, here's how I'm shaping my body in different ways. Because if you're not doing that, then all of a sudden you're just in front of the camera and it feels awkward and you don't know what to do with your hands.
Yep.
So kind of spending some just more relaxed time practicing,
for sure.
moving, getting comfortable, feeling proper. Yeah. That is a cool way. Maybe it's like, okay, the song comes on. What emotions does this song make me feel, and how would my body be positioned based on that? Okay, maybe now it's like a word, like you said, proper. Okay, how do I feel more proper? How do I feel more powerful? And what does that mean to me, moving my body in different ways? I love that idea.
Yes. I like to start with classical music.
Cool.
Just because it calms me down. If this is your first time doing it, just putting on Blink 182 might not do it. It might get you even more nervous. It would just really be to like get you into a calm place. How can you just slowly move? I want music that allows me to move slowly. I don't have to go super fast. Like listening to classical music, I'm like, yeah, I can take it slow. I don't know what I'm really doing, but I'm just like moving my body and it feels good. Yeah.
That's a really, really cool pattern. So are there any sort of habits or disciplines that you practice that helps improve your creativity or helps you with the content you create?
Habits do I have? How do I get creative in my content? I guess I watch a bit for science.
Cool.
And I just habitually save different things if it sparks joy and creativity. I realize working out, I get really creative too.
Cool.
I get a lot of cool ideas when I'm working out, especially the shower after the workout. And I quickly rush over to the phone and just like write it down.
Cool.
yeah, I would say those things, just like moving and getting out, listening to music also, like I can think through different videos that might pair well with a certain song. Yeah.
That's cool because you create a lot of different types of videos. It's not just one formula that
Right.
you do.
Right.
And like I've kind of talked about before, everything is laced with love and empathy and kindness and all of that. And do you think that some of these things where you're focusing on helping certain types of people, is that coming in from DMs? Are these clients that are coming in? Like, how are you getting these ideas?
DMs, clients, also just a lot in the comment section. And I think that's what I love about TikTok specifically, because everyone's just commenting and you can reply to a comment. And that way I can just like really diagnose one person's problem that they have and help solve that. And typically there's a lot of people who can find a shared solution really helpful.
Yeah. I mean, like I was saying, even if that content wasn't created specifically for my demographic, I still learned something from it. And I still
Yes.
walk away feeling, wow, that is so cool. And you are making the world better by uplifting everyone in different ways. Okay. So David, what are you excited about next? What do you have coming up that you're working on?
There's something I'm working on right now, very important. It's like the season of planting and watering right now. So if you ever want to get photographed by me, at the moment, you'd probably go to a website called davidsuhphotography.com, which is very reflective of what the service is. David photographs clients. But at certain points in David's life, why am I talking in the third person? Certain point, like last year or so, I realized, like my purpose isn't just to take photos of people. There's so much. There's a bigger purpose than that. Is to help people navigate their identities, right? It's to transcend just photography itself. Photography is just one avenue of being able to do that and help someone transform their confidence. So with that realization, with a couple of other things to pair with it, we're going to be called now Dasu Studios, and it's going to be a collective of photographers.
Cool.
Now, something that we are highlighting even more in this big evolution is that we are a photography studio second and a safe space first.
Cool.
A safe space for people to get together, have conversations with each other, themselves, reflect, challenge limiting beliefs, navigate that identity, express it, and feel empowerment. So another really exciting thing is that we're going to be a evening tea house.
Oh, wow.
Because again, for that safe space for people to get together. Yeah.
That is so cool. Something that I feel is really needed, especially in a big city like LA. That's so exciting.
Thank you.
I cannot wait. So when do we have dates for when this is going to open?
We're doing a lot of soft launches starting the middle of July. And I already have an event that I want to invite you to. I can't wait.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And I think to the public, August is what we're aiming for. So
Cool.
July is just gonna be really cool people, really dope people like you. Have you experience it first?
Cool.
And launching in August in LA.
You are just a bundle of creativity, and it's really exciting to see the good that you're putting out in the world, but you're also drawing people in and allowing them opportunities to connect, because it's amazing to have this digital connection, but it also can feel very lonely in the process of it. So to be able to have a place that we can go to and actually hang out and feel welcome is a breath of fresh air for sure.
Thank you.
That's very exciting. So as we kind of move out of the interview process, I got to know, if you weren't doing this, if you weren't doing photography and creating content and doing all these things, what would you be doing? What other things are you interested in?
I love marketing. I love business. I love gaming. So maybe something there. I feel like another David who's not doing this I would love to believe that he's still doing something that he loves, but it's just something different. And he just put all his eggs in that basket. And hopefully it's very fruitful for that David as well. Yeah.
That's so cool. What kind of gaming are you into?
Ooh, we started with things like MapleStory and RuneScape. Now it's like League of Legends, Overwatch, Dead by Daylight, a whole bunch of different things.
That's so cool. I love it. Do you have any other kind of hobbies or interests?
Dance still is still a big
Cool.
one. Yeah. My life really is like right now just a lot of business.
Yeah.
So not so much time to invest into hobbies. I do like thrifting and shopping a lot.
Cool.
Maybe
You have
even,
super cool style, by the way. Every time we've hung out, you have like dope outfits on.
Thank you. I try. I gotta express, you know.
Yes.
It makes me feel good and look good, you know.
Cool.
It's so important. It sets the tone for the day.
It does.
Yeah.
And it's just another way that you can be creative.
Yes.
Yeah. So anything else that you want to share with us before we take off today?
Whoever's listening, you are absolutely beautiful. You are just existing. Just the fact that you exist, you are inherently beautiful. And I think it is up to you. We owe it to ourselves to seek that beauty and to see that for ourselves. So please do. I am here for you. Kelsey is here for you. And have the loveliest of day.
You are the best. Where can people find you?
You can find me, David Suh, online. I think if you Google, you should be able to find my Instagram, TikTok at David Suh, Instagram at David Suh Photo, David Suh on YouTube, all the good places.
Awesome. David, thank you for hanging out with me today.
Thank you, Kelsey. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. Let's go pose.
Hey!